Hey. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Environmental Justice Now. My name is Leah Jones, and I am the organizing coordinator and water justice organizer here at Virginia Interfaith Power and Light. Before we get started today, I'd like to do a brief land acknowledgement. As usual, while we are on a video call and many of us are joining in from different places, it's important that we remind ourselves that we do gather on the unceded land of the indigenous peoples. I'm joining in from so-called Richmond, Virginia, and I am on the land of the Powhatan and Chickahominy peoples. So if you are unsure of whose land you are on and you would like to learn more to find out, you can always visit native-land.ca to check it out. Okay, great. So this week on Environmental Justice Now, we'll actually be using the show to talk about some of the highlights from VIPL's biggest event of the year, our Environmental Justice Retreat. So last week we had the pleasure of hosting our Virginia Environmental Justice Retreat for legislators from July 24th to the 25th, actually at the Boar's Head Resort in Charlottesville. Their legislators and environmental advocates all gathered to learn more about environmental injustices and consider solutions for Virginia. So they were joined by several coalition partners and experts, all working to develop climate priorities for Virginia. We had guest speakers, workshops, and wellness activities to help strengthen the bonds, to empower and inform all of the attendees to respond to our climate crisis. So some of the topics that we were actually able to cover during the retreat included imagining a fossil fuel-free future, which is becoming ever more pressing every day, as well as the true cost of Virginia's energy, as well as climate resilience and mitigation, and climate investment grants. As we know, a lot of opportunities for funding that have never been done before are about to come down the line to influence and invest in our communities in the new ways. So we were able to talk about that, as well as opportunities that are available through the Federal Bipartisan Infrastructure and Investment Act, as well as the Inflation Reduction Act. So the retreat really provided awesome tools and informations for legislators to navigate this unique opportunity to make historic investments in the people all throughout the Commonwealth. So we actually were able, during the retreat, we had a chance to record a few of the legislators who attended to share some of their thoughts on the retreat and its importance. So in case you missed it on our socials, we are here today to share some of those thoughts with you all now. We'll go ahead and
go.
One of the things that I certainly, as I've been at this environmental justice conference, a message to the constituency and to those who are here, under the sound of my voice, to know that, when we have an obligation, we have to make certain that we are creating a better environment, we are creating a better world, whether it's in our various community, in our Commonwealth or this country, that we have an obligation to make a difference, not just for the benefit of those of us who are living here today, but the generations that are yet to come. And I'm asking each of you to join me in making certain that we are doing whatever we can to provide a much cleaner and a better America for all of us. Thank you.
It takes me a while, and you can go ahead and speak.
I think it's wonderful that in Virginia and at the federal level, we are really intentionally focusing on the issues of environmental justice, but we have to do so with the thought in mind that we are not affecting other nations and other people. Too often it's very tempting to move those polluting industries overseas and to create new frontline, fence line communities. We don't want environmental injustice to be exported. We want to make sure that what we are doing here is a global effort and that we're going to protect communities all across the world.
1, go.
One of my favorite things about attending the VAIPL Environmental Justice Retreat with other legislators is the opportunity to get to talk to them about the pressing policy issues that we're trying to address. I think the urgency of climate change right now is so pressing that it really is going to require all hands on deck to figure this out together. When we talk about environmental justice, we understand that we're looking at it through a framework of race equity, so that we're making sure that those marginalized communities are not the ones that continue to be left behind and the most harmed in the way that we're creating policies. One of my takeaways from this week has been about making sure that I'm asking the right questions. Am I digging deep enough to understand that some corporations or some of our utility stakeholders are not greenwashing or whitewashing the policy initiatives and packaging it in a way that is actually deceitful, and where we're making policy decisions that are not effective or impactful enough, right, to help us meet the urgency of this moment. And so I'm really glad to be here and to continue to support the work and work in partnership with not just VAIPL, but our other coalition partners and my colleagues.
1.
We have had a wonderful experience here at the Environmental Justice Retreat for the last few days. One of my favorite moments was learning a little more about storytelling and how to talk about our values and the here and now of climate change. We don't want this to be seen as some far off in the future problem. We need to talk about it as a now problem and something that our communities care about in the here and now. For example, extreme heat. We know that there are fires across the United States and in Europe, and it's scary for our communities. I've been in areas where I've smelled smoke, and it's relatable. It affects the air we breathe. So I really enjoyed this opportunity to come together and talk about environmental justice policies in Virginia and how it really relates to our everyday lives.
That was great to hear. A few of our legislators who were actually able to attend share their thoughts on, the retreat, but also just how they're prioritizing environmental justice in their own policy making and advocacy and within their own, jurisdictions. So I think it has been a really great opportunity for all of the legislators and the rest of our coalition members to, get together and come together, think of solutions, talk about the real issues that, our communities are facing as our climate crisis continues, and working towards those solutions. So ultimately, it's great to see that this retreat really provided an opportunity for all of us in coalition alongside our legislators to evaluate ongoing environmental injustices all throughout the state, and really actually prioritize a just transition of our energy economy. That was a huge topic during the retreat. And this event also defined opportunities for climate and environmental justice, as you could tell, and why addressing these issues for our communities is becoming more and more urgent every day. So legislators and experts really had the opportunity to engage in healthy dialogue over those 2 days last week about how we can maintain a livable planet and work towards finding those solutions so that we can all live in a just, thriving, equitable world. So thank you all so much for joining us today and staying up with our socials if you had the opportunity to last week. We were very active all throughout the retreat, walking you with us as best as we could. And we look forward to seeing what our legislators alongside our coalition members are able to accomplish in the coming months, years, as we continue to focus on environmental justice in our communities. So yes, that being said, thank you again for joining us. If you would like to keep up with everything VIPL, if you haven't already, you can always join our supporters list or by checking out this link here, where you can receive information every week about everything VIPL, our upcoming events, programming that we're caring about, initiatives that we care about, pressing concerns within the community. So please sign up if you haven't already, and we'll be back same time, same place next week. Thank you all so much, and have a great Friday.